Hey, we're here in Golden, Colorado with Jason Fitzgerald, Senior Vice President of the Solutions Network, your new title.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it's
it.
great. So I guess you and I probably met now 15 years ago
At least,
in
yeah. Let's not admit
Oracle's,
it.
exactly right, yeah. In Oracle's office in Manhattan as two competing firms just looking at services around CPM, EPM. Now we're the old guys in the CPM, EPM world, which is fun. But my world is a lot more similar to what it was, where yours has changed pretty dramatically. Let's talk about your new role.
Yeah, sure. So it's been a little over 2 years now at OneStream. Obviously, coming from 11 years in consulting,
Yeah.
and then 7 years back at Oracle and Hyperion before that. I sort of just went back to my roots, back to technology. Wanted to go back to innovating on product. And being able to embrace where I also was in consulting to help other partners like yourselves do the same thing.
Right.
So that's what we're embracing now is creating solutions internally, but also creating solutions with partners or helping partners create their own and commercialize it and get it out to customers for more value.
Right. And I think from my perspective, I think it's going to take some time, but the world, to me, changed when we think about platforms like the iPhone, right? Where it's like the iPhone's not a phone, it's a platform. And consumers now have access to thousands of apps that really help them in a way that's personal, but there's a lot of overlap between people that have similar issues. So I've got my apps, you've got your apps, there's some overlap there, but not entirely. I think when we start thinking about our business lives, in some ways we're still kind of caught up in this myth that you need to go to some huge software company to come build the thing, the monolithic thing for you that's when it goes live in 3 months or a year, it's static and it doesn't evolve with your business. And I think we're now in a world that's kind of moving beyond that. You're a believer, I'm a believer, our customers are getting there. What's that look like from a kind of day-to-day? Where are you guys? What's where the challenge is? What are you excited about?
So we're super excited about, I kind of view it like an evolution.
Yeah.
So we're super excited about the evolution here.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of customers, it's more of a revolution because finance users and end users of traditional CPM solutions aren't necessarily used to this kind of platform innovation.
Right.
And so that's going to take a number of years to really get us over the hump and sort of that, I would say, mass market, if you will, that this is what you're looking for versus this is what we're offering. And customers are saying, oh, I didn't know that you offered that. Rather, let's have the market push us as well. It exists in other sectors, whether it be IT, CRM, et cetera. But it's a completely new paradigm for finance. And those are the types of systems that we're replacing as well, whether they be point solutions from other vendors or those 20-year systems that sort of sat stagnant or just incrementally were added to. Like, I don't know where to put this. Oh, let me go put that in my reporting system that I have in finance because it's, traditionally just a place to put it and has some flexibility, but it just doesn't scale for the long term.
Yeah, I think we're getting at the core, there are things that finance organizations within large companies do that it truly is a competitive advantage around creating value for leadership to move the company in the right direction, to be nimble, to be aggressive. Then there's a lot of things that everyone just needs to get done to clear the way, to be strategic, right? Things like, hey, simplest example is we got to calculate our asset lives and depreciation schedule. That's the same everywhere you go. If we can start to simplify our ability to deploy that, which actually means it's taking some hours away from our billable hours to build something that's repeatable that we can deploy together. That's a competitive advantage for all of us, right? Because it allows us to get our customers up and running faster and develop a better relationship where they're looking forward and not kind of stuck in the mundane, right? And we can focus on the value creation, which means we can focus on real tangible ROI, right? And I think that's kind of the fun part. But you have to think about it I always think about scarcity theory versus abundance theory, and how when we really believe that smart intelligence and innovation is scarce, we get really, really defensive about it. When we recognize that, hey, there's a lot of things we don't have to fight about.
Yeah.
You have this abundant theory kind of model, which is what you're really espousing for us. And we're not always thrilled about it because I have competitors sharing the same content, but we need to learn to do that much more effectively and recognize this is not where we're going to compete and win, building a CapEx model. And I know there's a lot better things happening than just CapEx models, but I think it's a simple example to start.
Yeah, I think it's a decent example. I think there's a real good one that's been here for a few years that makes it easy to understand the platform value as well. So we can just take account recs as an example. Account recs is a really good example of a solution that was built on and in OneStream and leverages the same data that you're likely loading, especially if you're a consolidations user. Let's use that same account balance, trial balance that's being loaded from either one or multiple GLs, and let's leverage that data to do account recs. Why do I need to create another stovepipe of an application that might be purpose-built for account recs, but it doesn't really do much else? So it's not just the sort of this really, how do I get into this completely new area and innovate? No, these are solutions you have to do month in, month out, quarter in, quarter out, annually, et cetera. And you can use the same data that you're already loading to the system. That's a real table stakes sort of discussion, just like you were bringing up with capital. But then you can start getting into other purpose-built areas, new regulations, ESG, all sorts of stuff. And open it up.
And you're preaching to the choir, but at the end of the day, as a competitor, we're both competitors in different ecosystems. Like, as a competitor in the CPM, EPM software space, how is this good for your customers?
So the exponential value for customers is, at this point, sort of immeasurable. I can't really enumerate the number of ways that customers are benefiting, but even looking at generating ROI from not implementing a stovepipe application and just leveraging the platform, extending it out to emerging areas like ESG. So it's really, when you look at our solution exchange that we released back in April at our Splash conference in Washington, D.C., it's all about how do we create choices for customers in different solution areas, whether that be different functions, vertical applications, et cetera, with different use cases of the platform that customers are asking us for. They're asking us for them on a regular basis, either from OneStream or from partners like yourselves. And so it's not just us innovating in those areas, but our partners as well, and being able to create that value. So it's just exponential value potential, but you have to start to look at those new use cases to do it. A lot of our customers have either started in just core finance applications, replacing maybe a consolidation system or doing a little planning in FP&A, and don't realize the number of different use cases and ROI they can get from the platform.
I mean, I remember my first consulting assignment ever, way back in the mid-90s, S-based work for GlaxoSmithKline, and that's at Philadelphia, right? We get in there, we've got multiple cubes going everywhere. We're like, hey, how do we keep all these outlines synced? And Hyperion had nothing to do at that point in time to keep things synced. We created a VB app to keep all those outlines synced, right?
That's funny.
And we built it, and it was great, and we deployed it, but that was a bunch of robust development. I couldn't do it. I'd help from home office, right? But then we deployed it for one customer. There were probably 50 customers who could have used that. It could have become a product with its own life cycle. It never happened because our core business was not product innovation. So when I think about your partnership with us, is like, we have those people who are smart and love to solve problems, but we need some guardrails, right? And our customers depend on that because, like, hey, Jason, I think you're great and all, but are you a consultant or are you a code developer? How many beta tests? How are we protecting that asset over time, keeping it up to date, and also how are we protecting our customers from bad product design? Because it's not the same thing as consulting, right?
Yeah, what's funny is, it's funny you told that story about Glaxo because actually in the early 2000s, and if you go back even further, so you go back to ITT, that's how Tom Shea started Upstream. So Tom Shea was developing custom solutions in industry and saying, and then kind of had it dawn on wait a minute, people would buy this. So maybe I should start a company doing this. Obviously extremely successful, and now joined forces with Bob Powers. That's when I met Bob, was in the early 2000s. Cool. I had built some HFM utilities to do exactly as you're saying. How do I make it easier for people that are doing Hyperion Financial Management to manage their environment? And so I just started giving it away for free.
That's awesome.
This job is actually codifying that into a strategy. This job is creating a solution exchange with standards and verifications and security scans and those guardrails that you talked about for partners to say, here, Mr. or Ms. Partner, this is how you can develop a solution. And by the way, our customers know the process that you're going through to develop it and publish it and trust it. So that way, it's not something that's existing somewhere in some shared drive on Dropbox where you go, hey, go download this thing. Trust me, it's safe. No. You're taking it from a trusted source, verified, and that's what our team does, is enables that.
So kind of to round it out the conversation, what's in the near-term, long-term future?
Wow, we already have, so we have 5 development partners in the partner place right now, and nearly 20 solutions in the open place. We have 20 solutions in backlog. These are ones just from OneStream that go into open place. So those will be published over the coming quarters.
Awesome.
We also have 20 solutions from other partners, including yourselves, that sit in our backlog that we're trying to get to, and get that through into publishing cohorts in the near future, so that the solutions that our customers are looking for, either verticalized, another function, maybe just a utility to make something like administration easier. Those are great. And the ways that people do that varies vastly. So creating variety out there in the solution exchange is a major priority for us, and opening up the potential for people like yourselves and partners are the ones that have the subject matter expertise. The more we can enable you to take your subject matter expertise and make it a true commercial solution, the better off our customers will be, our joint customers.
Agreed. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Good to see you.